In the fall of 2014, we did a Rick Steves Heart of France tour. I pre-apologize for any mispronunciations of the French places. When we think about the D-Day landings, we always think about the landing sites on the beaches. We don't think about the towns behind the beaches, the homes, the churches, the farms, and the cemeteries. Although most of the civilians had been removed and their homes used for billets for the occupying troops, their homes were all destroyed by the shellings. This is actually a Russian cannon captured on the Eastern Front and brought to Normandy. I will say, as you're walking up to the armaments, there is still a heaviness in the air. Those are chunks made by the shellings, yet these bunkers were still intact. This is what it looks like now. That's what it looked like then. This is what we saw, but this is what they saw. All these visions run through your head and you wonder, do I even deserve to be here? Because walking here is like walking on any hallowed grounds of any church, cemetery, basilica, or whatever. But you realize it's also your duty to be here, to make sure that those who follow you realize what went on here and why. If you look to the left, you can see the Pont du Hoc, and we know why they had to get rid of the artillery up there. Everybody knows about the D-Day invasions. There are all kinds of documentaries and movies, and sometimes with those movies you have to take them with a grain of salt. So I'm just going to mention a few things about what I felt or thought about as I was here in October of 2014. When I knew I was going to be coming here, I thought that I would be filled with emotional sadness, the waste of human life, the struggle to survive, the foolishness of humanity. But instead, I found myself being a bit angry. Not angry at the participants, obviously, but angry at the why. Why do we humans continue to slaughter each other? Why do so many allow so few to lead them to their demise? Certainly looks a bit different looking out. Farmers are still finding chunks of metal. And I'm sure they are well aware of how much blood from both sides this land drank of people who would rather have stayed at home. One of the things you don't realize from books and movies, and I certainly didn't, is the distance between these beaches. You kind of get the feeling when you watch a movie or see pictures that everything's all close together, but it's not. You really have to do some traveling between them, and you get to see the people's houses that they rebuilt, some with the same materials from the destruction. The average age of American soldiers who landed at Normandy on D-Day is considered to be around 20 years old. Most of the soldiers were young men, with many being fresh out of high school and drafted into service during the war. The average age of Americans who served in the Vietnam War was around 19 years old. The average age of Americans who fought in the Korean War is around 26 years old. But the average age of Americans who fought in World War I was around 25, the majority of those soldiers falling within the range of 18 to 45. You can look out here and things look just like any other beach at home, but it certainly is not. We casually walked up this embankment, but they didn't. They did this, so we can do this. Here I picked up some sand and a stone with a red streak through it in memory of my father. He came in with the second wave after the initial landing. I'm grateful he didn't face this. My only regret is that I didn't come here while he was still alive. Although it's always nice to get pictures without people in them, war memorials should never be alone. You cannot stand here, read the words, think of the sacrifice, and then look at the flag and not feel proud of these people. They truly are the greatest generation, the likes of which we may never see again. I felt I should include them here because they were important to the people who were here. All of the branches of the armed forces were utilized. The Utah Beach War Memorial Museum, my father has a small display here of things that I sent here after my visit. Everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. Landing craft sank, maps were incorrect, paratroopers dropped far away from landing sites, some landing in flaming buildings in the centers of towns, bombardments from the ships not clearing the beaches, strong currents causing landing crafts to land miles from their intended destination. Smoke obscured landing marks, causing troops to land in the wrong place. Soldiers bunched up for cover behind obstacles that were later detonated. The preliminary bombardment failed to knock out a lot of the strong defense points. Only 2 of the 29 amphibious tanks made it to shore due to rough surf. The Allies faced experienced German troops who had fought on the Eastern Front. It wasn't the plan that succeeded, it was the individual who succeeded. As you leave the Normandy beaches, you wonder if you would have had the same courage. I am sure our parents hoped that no future generation would have to go through something like this. Then again, we never do learn, do we? You cannot stand here, read the words, think of the sacrifice, and then look at the flag and not feel proud of these people. They truly are the greatest generation, the likes of which we may never see again.